Hello folks, Jonathan Milam here, and as always, I do hope you're having a great day. This is the third Bach Stradivarius 180-25, the third large board that I've had. 25 bell is, I believe, the trimmest bell that Bach made. However, to my way of thinking, the difference between the 72, which is by and large a big bell for a Strad, and a 25 is not near as great as many manufacturers have between their smaller and larger bells. I know the 65 is larger than the 72. That one is noticeably larger. But Bach really had a very fine idea, to my way of thinking, what he was trying to do with horns. And when he made, like, for instance, this has got a .462 bore size, which I think is predominantly noticeable in the ports of the valves. The tuning slides that this trumpet uses is the same that a medium large uses. First, second, third, main tuning slide, all the same. So the difference apparently is in the port area, the valve cylinders. Because that is more open, Bach used a slightly trimmer bell, the 25, and as some say, for those that want a little resistance on the back end of the horn. I don't find the bell at all restrictive. Of course, I'm not a power player, but those that wonder if that 3/1000ths from the medium large 459 to the large 462, will that wear you out? No, but it does keep you from feeling stuffy in the first half of the horn, and if you want something to push against, you can find that at the last. Most trumpet players do want a little resistance somewhere. I've always enjoyed a smaller bell horn. I can't really call this small. It's just the smallest of the Strad bells that I've experienced. But the smaller the bell, within reason, I feel the more control I have. Of course, it's going to still have the 4 8/10 roughly flare, but slightly trimmer through this area. Nonetheless, the third of these large bores that I've had, very enjoyable blow. I do like them. I'm going to use 3 horns to demo this. I'm going to use a Monette piece, the BLM, to begin with. I'm going to use a Trent Austin piece that is larger, a light, smaller trumpet flugel piece. And then I'm going to use a very nice, legit piece. I've got a Bach Mt Vernon 7C, wonderful mouthpiece. The rim is just too big for me. It's really, to my way of thinking, it's like a 5 in the modern series of Bach mouthpieces. Just going to play a simple old tune, take it up at least 1 key change, give me that old-time religion, move around a little bit on the horn. When we get into the legit mouthpiece, we'll try something a little bit more staid. I did have someone one time that said, I like to hear articulation when I'm listening to a horn demoed. And that is a good point. The problem is, I'm playing mostly mellow stuff and I don't usually articulate a lot. When I'm on the road, which is, I work on the road about 5 days a week, I practice a lot with a practice mute. And recently I thought, boy, I hardly ever do any double or triple tonguing. So I've been working on something just a little bit, and I take the mute off, and then it doesn't sound at all good. But for those of you that are wondering, it is a Bach Strad. It's a relatively legit horn. What does it sound like if you're going to, really do some tonguing? We'll try and give you at least a brief synopsis of what it might sound like. I'm assuming there are those out there that can tongue a lot better than I can. I won't embarrass myself further, but if you are wondering if the trumpet can handle staccato, hopefully that will answer your questions. Okay, I'm going to play one other mouthpiece, and before I finish that, then I want to go to some intricacies of the horn. Corporation bell from about 72 perhaps, so I think that makes it just about 53 years old, roughly, in very good playing condition. Excellent compression. I was talking to someone today, and I said I pulled the third dump slide out and actually startled myself how good the compression was this morning. I just was not quite expecting that. Second, and the first is like that, but it's just a little harder for me to get it out with the tuning slide or the bell crook. But there you go. Surprisingly, I enjoy doing these YouTubes, but to do these YouTubes, I usually have to acquire the horn. The problem there being, once I acquire the horn, I have to sell it. I can't keep all the 400 horns that I've had. I'd need a new house. And probably a kinder wife. So this is for sale. Any horns that we have up for sale will be on the first line. There's a link to the trumpetherald.com where I like to place these horns. Okay, was going to play this with the great mouthpiece if you're in an intimate environment or you just want something a little bit more mellow. Great mouthpiece here. This is Trent Austin's ACB, Austin Custom Brass, and this is the TA-TF, which stands for Trent Austin Trumpet Flugel. Excellent, excellent mouthpiece for a soloist, small group like that. Definitely a little mellower feel, deep V, but a very livable 24 or so drill. And I was talking to a fellow that was, thinking of buying this horn, and he said, how are the valves? And I said, I probably had 30 Strads. I'm not sure I can remember one where the valves hung up. Conn-Selmer has definitely got something going with their valves. Old Monel or Monel, however it's pronounced. But I'll tell you, the valves never had much problem with the Strad valves hanging up. Easy to move around on, and just long lasting. Okay, a couple of things about this specific horn. I've seen this before, but it is not common for sure. There is a little missing piece to the end of this tuning slide. A little piece is gone, if you can see that right on the edge there. Oh, I thought I could see it there. Just a little piece gone. I don't know if somebody dropped it and it chipped off, because it does not feel that it's just deterioration. And it isn't any problem getting this tuning slide in either. It's a very fine fit, no problem there. Could you replace it? And the other horn that I had, I can't remember what it was. Don't think it was a Strad, but it was the same thing. Only thing I can think of is they must have chipped it somehow. But then again, it's not sprung out of shape. At any rate, there's a little chip there. It wouldn't bother me any whatsoever. It's just the price of having a horn that is used. Now, of greater note, perhaps, is the fact that the interior of this tuning slide does show pitting. So there is some deterioration there. I don't think you can see it, but there are several light red dots, probably the beginning of dezinkification, or red rot, as some people call it. You can do two things about that. You can keep this clean, and it could well outlast you, or you can replace it. And Charlie Melk, I know, does a good job. I'm shocked how reasonable it is. I think it's about somewhere around the vicinity of $200 or so for a new lead pipe. I would not do anything to this except when I've finished cleaning it, I would run a lead pipe swab through it, just like this. I made mine myself, fishing weights here, and just run it through. And I've got several old pieces of material here. Run it through, get the excess moisture out after you've finished playing it, take the tuning slide out, and then I leave my horn on a stand. You can leave it laying this way if you want. Red rot thrives on damp and dirt. So if you leave a lot of saliva or moisture in your lead pipe, you leave your tuning slide in and just let that stuff fester, then you will exacerbate the problem. The other thing that I do is every week or two, if you're playing a lot, what you'd want to do is pour a few ounces of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, isopropyl, into the lead pipe of the horn with the tuning slide here. Get a snake, just run it up and down, run the snake up and down, turn it around so that you're getting the interior taken. And then what I do is I just take that alcohol, then it's in the tuning slide, work it around so that it's through the tuning slide, dump it. And if you do that every week, I would be shocked if this lead pipe didn't last longer than you. Wish we could clean ourselves out the same way as effectively. But that's what I would do. I think the lead pipe in this is very good. I do have another horn, another Strad, which is really deteriorated to the point that I think I am going to have a lead pipe replaced. But this one, I just don't feel it's to that point unless it bothers you overly, lack of perfection. And, then you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, what is a Strad if it is not a legit horn? They can do everything, but we've got a great legit mouthpiece here. This is a Mount Vernon 7C. See that large throat? Unfortunately, this has got a big rim too. The Mount Vernon seemed to be a little bit larger rim. And like I say, I think I've played fives, modern Bach fives, that are about the size of this Mount Vernon 7. We will try and handle it, and I think I'll do a little bit more legit number. I played just a few moments ago, Savior Like a Shepherd Lead Us, and I think we'll just do that again with this Stradivarius, the large bore 25 with a Mount Vernon 7C. Nice horn. I feel very comfortable with Strads. I've got a 37 with the sterling silver plus bell, got a 43 that's a lightweight, and also a 43 with the sterling silver plus bell. I like this horn, but I'm going to stick with my sterling silver plus. They're just a lot rarer, and I've got the 43 lightweight, which is really different from those heavier sterling silver bells. And because of that, it just enables the 25 to move on to someone else. Definitely some wear on the bell here. Of course, what you're immediately noticing probably is the worn lacquer. Bit of a leopard look. Used to, whenever I got a horn, if it had lacquer like this, first thing I did was strip it and make it bare brass. A lot of people don't like bare brass horns. So I've left it, lacquer would be relatively easy, I think, to remove, as there's probably, well, I don't know, at least a third of the lacquer I would think is gone. But anyway, definitely some bell work I think has been done. The one thing that surprised me when I was really looking the horn over, let's see, is when you set it down, it sets perfectly. Oh, let's see if we can get this over here looking. I mean, when this sets down, it sets down just perfect. There is no wobble whatsoever. So while it probably has had a little bell work around just in this area, it looks like, whoever did this did an excellent job. The bell is very round, very consistent, and I think it produces a good tone. I don't know at what point repair really seems to bother a horn. It's kind of been my feeling, and I've had several hundred horns in the last 20 years. My impression is once that they've been brutalized so much that they just are unable to hold shape or be straightened out, at that point I would think that the tone would be seriously altered. But some dingage around the bell, as I loosely call it, has never bothered me. And I'm not a trained musician. I'm not a professional musician. My big thing is quality. You know, I want to hear a certain tone out of a trumpet, and I certainly feel like I can achieve that with a trumpet of this quality. Okay, that's all we've got to say, I think, about the Bach 18025. And it's taken us 20 minutes to say it. I do appreciate the opportunity to share time with you. I was talking to one of my children just a few minutes ago, and I said, the one thing that surprises me when I talk to people about my videos, I'm always apologizing that I talk so much, but most people say that's the information that we like. Well, I certainly hope so. If not, if you go to the comments below, now that we're all over, I can say that. At the bottom, we'll have each of these clips set up so that you can compare one mouthpiece to another, how the sound is. We appreciate you if you've stuck with us this long. Thank you for your patience. Do take care of yourself and someone near you.